advance. I missed Mum's birthday again, even though Le Mans been moved, and there is no other live coverage from there. So again, it's radiolemans.com, your first place for endurance racing action.
And it looks a little static in terms of the gaps coming down here. If anything, Lucas Lowe's lost a little ground to Olivier Blas the last time around, and Fred Makovicky at the moment is holding that gap, closing slightly on the leader, but not enough to make a difference in the remaining 5 minutes, I'm afraid. But 9.8 seconds is the lead gap in GT Pro. It is 23 seconds the gap for the leader between Caffet and Blas in LMP2, with Le further 7 seconds back now. But GT Pro, Bruni from Makovicky, from Kobayashi, from Turner, 9.8 seconds, as I say, the gap 1-2, further 5 seconds back to the third place car, and then with Darren Turner, a fighting 29 seconds further back from that. He's brought that gap down dramatically in the last hour or so.
I'm told that Michelin interview about safety car rants is already online, so thank you very much indeed to the guys at Michelin for getting that up as quickly as they have. Nick Damon down in the pit lane, final thoughts from you with 3 minutes and 58 seconds to go.
A great first couple of hours, and a lot more questions left unanswered and answered, certainly once number 7 went out. The car looked very good, would have been in the mix, probably would have come third, I think, but it was the car's got some pace, and that's the first race failure I think we've seen since Le Mans last year, isn't it? They haven't failed in a race since then.
Yeah, okay, I'll buy that. LeMansLive.com, www.lemanslive.com for that interview that we were talking about. Graham Goodwin, dailysportscar.com editor, relatively problem-free, other than that high-profile 7 car, as we've mentioned. Obviously, problem for the Greaves car before we even got the race started. That was all over and done with for them. In fact, packed up and gone. Something to talk to Tom Kimber Smith today and doing an interview. Gone. Everything's gone. No sign of him. What will you take away from this one? Not necessarily just at the front of the field.
Great performance by Audi. Actually, not a bad performance at all by Toyota. With what's, let's not forget, is a new car race conditions. Great performance all weekend by Rebellion. I think it's been a big highlight for me. Good battle in LMP2, slightly spoiled by the safety car with that big gap, but came together at the end. GT Pro, mouth-watering prospect for Le Mans. Great already with the WEC with the 7 cars, and I hope we can keep the 7 cars for the full season. And Aston Martin are working hard on that third car being here. But I think that Le Mans 24 hours, frankly, look at this. Look at the things in the background. Should swell the crowd by thousands, as we've got a Ferrari in the pits.
And that is the
Marco Ciocci leaving the pits. That's leaving the pits after its drive shaft.
Paul Truswell, final thoughts from you as we're coming down towards the last lap.
Yes, what a great race. We all hear from Eduardo.
Gentlemen, we are approaching the last lap procedures. We are approaching the last lap.
That means that it's going to be 168 laps.
Is that more than 1,000 Ks?
Oh yes. I don't know how exactly
somebody asked,
but it is more than 1,000 kilometres.
Right. Okay.
But no, I think it's been a great race in isolation. There's a lot of potential for the 24 hours. But I think the overriding message has been that the quality has been there throughout. Endurance racing has long been all about, yes, some high-profile manufacturer teams, some good running, some enthusiastic, well-run independents, and then some that shouldn't really be there, but we need to make up the grid. We're not getting very many of those at all now.
I just want to say that the number 1 car is about to start the last lap.
No, it is on its last lap.
There you go, with 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining on the clock. Sorry.
Yep, and whatever the last lap procedures are that Eduardo was referring to, we're now into them. There's probably a section in the regulations that says last lap procedures. Can't remember exactly what it says, but in effect, that is what we are now on.
No, Andre, there's one more. There's one more.
That was before he crossed the line last time around. There is a slight delay as it comes through. He did sound a bit tired there, didn't he? How many laps did you say, Paul?
168.
Is 1,176.672 kilometres.
Yeah, and that's what is interesting is actually whether that's further than we went at Silverstone. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it probably will be further than we went at Silverstone. In fact, I remember a long time ago at did you say it was 1160?
1176.
1176, yeah, a long time ago I went to Monza for 1,000 Ks, which turned into a 6-hour race, and that was 1160. But no, what I was trying to say is that there aren't any teams out there that shouldn't be out there. This is a World Endurance Championship, and everybody is world class, and I think that's very good from my point of view, very significant, and we've got a strong championship.
Just going to keep a fine eye on GTE Pro, because all of a sudden Fred Makavicki's pace has fallen off a bit of a cliff, and that gap at the moment is down to about 1.6 seconds as the cars come into the final sector, and will cross and will go around again, I think, John.
Yeah, I think the GTs will. They haven't seen the checkered flag yet. It's the number 1 car that's going to win it. Alan McNish is first to congratulate his teammates as we wait for the number 1 Audi. To our right, there's all kinds of fireworks going off. It's not that Audi, and there's now, of course, a lot of smoke on the start-finish line, and these cars have still got a lap to do, and Makavicki's just gone through, and Kobayashi was right up his tailpipe.
1 second.
But the second round of the FIA WEC will be won by the number 1 Audi. Andre Lotterer, Marcel Fessler and Benoit Treluet comes out of the final corner. The super bright headlights on the Audi are flashing, and he goes through and wins it. John Martin comes through right in his wheel tracks, but the interest is still out on the circuit, and we can see this on the split times, because Makavicki has been held up, and Kobayashi's right there. Kobayashi is right behind him. He's taken that second out of him. They're absolutely together, 98 and 71. If you're around the circuit at the moment, this is not over. They've still got probably 5 kilometres to do. Bruni will win the GTE Pro class, as will Pecom in the P2 category from the 24 and the 38. We'll get some interviews in the moment, but this race is not over yet. We're watching the Audi going the wrong way down the pit lane, which always scares me, even at the end of a race. But at the moment, it's about Makavicki in the 98 Aston and Kobayashi in the 71 Ferrari. They have not yet come to the second split point. Here comes Pierre Caffer into the final corner, and he cannot be beaten as he comes round. We still haven't had a split time from them in the second split. That seems a very long time to me.
There they go, still the same order, and the gap's gone up, if anything, John.
So Makavicki and Kobayashi still battling. It's just about 1.1 seconds now, as through comes the second place Morgan. Now there is Jimmy Bruni in elegant isolation, as we're still waiting for the Pro winner to come through as well, the 81, the bright orange Ferrari.
Yeah, sorry.
The AM car, thank you. And Makavicki and Kobayashi. Oh, they're absolutely together. About a second between them. Here comes the AM winner. Now it will be 8-star. Malicelli's done a great job for them. Where did they find him? And are there any more like him at home? And look in the background, we're still waiting to see this battle. They've gone through now, and it is by 1 second that Fred Makavicki holds on to that second place. It was tight at the end.
We didn't actually see it, but I have a feeling that the number 3 car of Lucas Di Grassi actually didn't necessarily get involved, but across the line, Lucas Di Grassi was between them, and the Aston went through ahead of the Audi, the number 3 Audi, and then the Ferrari.
Okay.
So there was split by a second, and also Lucas Di Grassi.
My thanks to Graham Goodwin, who I know has got to go and do some work for dailysportscar.com. Down in the pit lane, Nick Damon. Not able to talk to us at the moment, so let's hope that we can grab 1 or 2 interviews with Louise as well. Well, thank you very much indeed for all the kind comments on Twitter, on the Midweek Motorsport Listeners Collective at radiolemans.com for this 6-hour race, and thank you for your forbearance earlier on with some issues that we had earlier on that were not of our making. All of the archive will be sorted for you, but that is the victory for the number 1 Audi. Audis 1, 2 and 3 are 1, 2 and 3 at Spa as we get ready for the run to Le Mans. Well, let's